This is a real scene of firemen rescuing a girl underground with her body covered in bruises and dying. The victim was originally a beautiful model, but the night before she was disfigured and thrown into a well. Why would someone do this to her? On October 20th, a man was walking home when he arrived at the construction site and heard a faint cry for help. The sudden sound of help confused the man. He walked along the direction of the sound to the edge of a well and looked down, but did not see anyone. At this moment, another sound of help came from the well. So the man who felt something was wrong called the police. The police immediately arrived at the scene to carry out rescue work. This well was more than 3 meters deep and had cement pipelines on both sides. However, the girl was not at the bottom of the well, but in the cement pipeline on the left. The police found blood stains distributed at the wellhead and underground, inferring that the girl may have been severely injured before falling. In order to avoid the cold, the girl instinctively climbed to the depths of the well, but this also increased the difficulty of rescue. After multiple attempts, the girl was finally rescued. However, the girl's face was completely disfigured, and her body was very weak. In this condition, she still provided the police with a home phone number before she fell into a coma. Then, she was sent to the hospital for treatment. The police learned from his parents that the girl's name is May, 21 years old, and she is a model. On that day, May was out all night and her phone was also turned off. But her parents also had no idea why she was in the well. The hospital conducted a comprehensive examination of May, and the results were shocking. Her nose and cheekbones had been shattered, her face severely deformed, and there were few teeth left. May suffered a fierce attack on her head and face. From her words and phrases, the police gained some understanding of the case. Last night, May had dinner with several friends, and later in a taxi, the driver wanted to insult her. Because May was occasionally awake and coma, the police were unable to obtain further information from her. Next, the police found the friends who had dinner with May that night and learned that May had a fight with her mother that night. She was upset, so they asked her out to have dinner with them. After the meal, they went to karaoke and hung out until midnight before returning home. Monitoring showed that at 1:36 a.m., May walked out of the karaoke, and from her walking posture, it could be seen that she should have drunk a lot that night. Seeing May drunk, her friends suggested to take her home, but May refused and got into a taxi alone. Previously, according to May, it was the taxi driver who violated her, so the police immediately found the taxi. However, the taxi driver was not the person who hurt May. According to him, May got off the car near an internet cafe that night.
当天凌晨2点左右来了一个女孩，身高非常高，因为她这个身高非常高，而且午夜上网人比较少，她还有印象。
The staff working in the internet cafe told the police that May only had been here for half an hour and then left. Because of no surveillance in the internet cafe, the police didn't know where May went after leaving.
然后我们派出侦查员沿着这个路开始找监控录像。
May, who woke up after the surgery, provided the police with another piece of information. She said that after leaving the internet cafe, she got on another taxi and intended to go home. On the way, the driver once got off the car and bought a bottle of water, but May couldn't remember which store it was because she was drunk. So the police followed the route from the internet cafe to May House and conducted an investigation of all the stores that were still open in the early morning. Finally, they found the convenience store and found the driver in the surveillance video at the entrance. After May identification, the taxi driver was the suspect who violated her that night. May said that the driver didn't take her home after buying water, but instead took her to a remote place. After that, the driver felt her up and offered to have sex with her. With May confirmation, the police immediately began searching for the suspect. According to information from the taxi company, the man's name was Li Rong, and he was arrested very soon by the police at a car repair shop. However, when being interrogated by the police, Li remained silent and hit the wall with his head while the police were not paying attention. With this experience, the police strengthened their supervision of Li and put on a helmet for him. Ensuring the suspect's safety was to allow him to confess the case, but after several days of interrogation, he still kept silent. At this point, May in the hospital gradually recovered, and the police took her to the public station to identify the suspect again. The purpose of face-to-face identification was to exert psychological pressure on the suspect and let him mainly confess. Sure enough, seeing May identify himself, Li's psychological defense completely broke down and finally confessed the whole process. At this point, he only realized how much harm his behavior that night had caused May. According to Li's confession, on the night of the crime, he pulled the drunken May into the car. He saw that May was pretty and youthful, so he had evil thoughts. At first, he was also very conflicted, struggling between law and desire, but in the end, the desire still made him lose his sanity. After buying water at the store, he changed route and parked his car at a construction site. Subsequently, he offered May $100 to have sex with him. After being rejected, Li then felt May up. So May slapped him, and Li became angry with embarrassment. He tried to choke May with her hand, and May quickly passed out. After raping May in order to kill her, Li picked up a brick from the roadside and slammed her in the face until he believed that May was dead. Then, Li threw her into the well and left the scene. Although May survived the disaster, the scars on her face caused her to disfigure, and Li will also be severely punished by the law.